Hello. Let's do a balance-themed strength workout today. You don't need very much. If you have a couple of different weights of dumbbells or kettlebells, that's fantastic. But just a single intermediate weight will work great. Also, a band can work. Little tricky for some of the exercises. Dumbbells are really ideal here, but as you probably know, as you've heard, water bottles filled with water, a backpack that you fill with books and you lift over your head. You have lots of options if you don't have dumbbells at home. Don't worry about it. Also, you can always hit me up. I will give you alternatives, better ideas. Hello, we are going to do a balance themed strength workout today. You are going to need a pair or two of dumbbells. Two different weights would be great, but one is fine as well. Remember, you can always slow the movement down. If your weight's a little light, make it a little bit harder. If you have a band, that's another great option. Not for everything, but for a few of the exercises. And also something that you can put your hand against because, you know, we are balancing. So unless your balance is super incredible, something like a wall, something like a chair, just something to have close at hand so that you feel more empowered to take more, I don't know if I want to use the word risks, but let's use the word risks, to take more risks when you're balancing, right? Because if you have nothing and you're not sure, you might only do this. But if you have a chair right there, maybe you start to lean forward. You get my drift. All right, let's dive in with a quick warm-up. If you feel like you need more of a warm-up, please pause me, do even more. But for us to start, we're just going to start with a slow march. So this isn't about getting your heart rate up. It's not about jogging on the spot. Whew, that was a good example. It's about finding that balance with each leg raise and also activating both the raised and the lower leg, glute of the lower leg, quad of the upper leg. Just getting things warmed up. Start going a little bit faster here. Of course, your wall or your chair is already a great option if you need it. A few more of these here. Okay, next, since we're going to be doing some single leg stuff, I don't know about you, I really feel it in my calves when I do that. So let's get our calves warmed up just with some gentle calf raises to start. Again, that wall or that chair right there if you need it. Not going too crazy here, not adding weight. Trying not to lock out those knees so you're not bent, although you can be. That works a slightly different part of the calf, but you just don't want to have your knees completely locked out. We want to work on that nice soft landing. Although more and more evidence now about that hard landing and how good that is on our bones, but that's for a different video. A couple more here. All right, then step that right foot back. Just find a little stretch in the calf, but then we're going to come back out of it. Remember, those long holds are more for the end of your workout. We want to be prepping our muscles for the movement they're going to be doing in our warm-up. A couple more here, really pressing that back heel down toward the ground. And up, switch feet. And drop back. You could already be testing out your balance here if your feet are a little too close together width-wise. Take them about hip width distance so you've got a sturdy base. One more. All right, and bring it up. Then we're gonna do our world's greatest stretch. Now, if you have a chair or a couch or something nearby and you're not quite ready to come down on the ground, that is a great option. You can always find your lunge using something to brace your hands against. If you are good, we'll come on down. Gonna find our lunge. Bring our, if we've got our left leg forward, we want our right hand down on the ground. Left fingertips to the ear, and we're gonna point the elbow down And then we're just going to rotate up toward the ceiling. Down and rotate up. Down and up. We'll do 3 more here. So again, if you are, confusing myself, if you're on something raised, you're just going to find that same rotation from a raised position. All right, and then switching sides. Right foot forward, left hand down, fingertips at the ear, and open it up, rotate it down. Getting that nice twist through the spine, also some work in those legs, pressing through that hand to push you away from the ground, activating some stuff in there. 2 more. And bring it up. I can't remember if I said that was the last one, but let's do 1 more. You can do this down on the ground if you like, or you can take your raised, we're gonna come forward, find our plank, and then sit it back, find our down dog, our pike pose, and bring it up. Bring it back, and up, just getting those shoulders warmed up. 3 more here. Remember, this is about your upper body, not your lower body, so you can bend those knees as much as you need. I think I said 3, that was 4. All right, feeling a little warmed up. Let's go into our first set. So we are gonna do 3 supersets. That means 2 exercises for each superset, and we're gonna do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we leave those 2 exercises, we move on to the next one. So for the first, we are going to do a split squat paired with an overhead press. So grab your weights. If you have 2 sets, 2 different weights of dumbbells, you're probably gonna want to do heavier ones for your split squat, lighter ones for your overhead press. But again, we can slow it down. We can do some pulses in the squat if you need more weight. So we're doing our split squat because with a normal squat, excellent exercise, you've got that normal base of support, that one we're used to, feet right beside each other. You're giving yourself a little more of a balance challenge by taking those feet back. Got a little bit of a narrower base, although we definitely don't want to be toe right behind heel. We still want to be on those train tracks, hip width distance. Set it up so that your toe is down at the back, and when you bend it down, you're going to drop that back knee straight down, and at the bottom, you want to end up with something like 90 and 90 in your knees. So let's go. Roll those shoulders back, weights down nice and heavy, and we lower, exhale to raise. That's 1. We're going to do 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Switch feet. Now, if you felt a little wobbly at all in that, you might have felt your core tensing to keep you stabilized. So that is a great reminder that your core is super involved in balance, and we do want to make sure we're keeping that core nice and braced. We're thinking belly button to spine, just keeping everything nice and solid. Roll those shoulders back, inhale, lower, exhale to raise. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, bring it in, bring it together. Hopefully you're already feeling that regardless of your weights. I should have said at the top, no weight, totally fine for a split squat as well. Okay, so if you're switching to your lighter weights, do so now. You're gonna bring your weights to your shoulders. So this is your setup. Not this, not this. Let those shoulders relax down against your body. And the tops of the dumbbells just sit on your shoulders there. So in order to challenge that balance a little more in this exercise, we're actually going to bring our feet closer together. You can try some different things. You can do like a little bit of a split if you'd like. Also, you can just do these normal. It's all good. You're still lifting weight away from your center of gravity, right? So you're still changing up your body's need to adapt, or you're forcing your body to adapt to a different, not center of gravity, but a different situation than it's used to. So bring those weights to your shoulders. Find that stance that'll maybe challenge your balance a little bit. And then we're going to press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and bring it down. All right, that was our 2 exercises. We're going back to our split squat. We're going to give ourselves about 30 seconds to rest here. One of the nice things about a superset that's upper and lower body, or 2 different parts of the body, whatever they are, is that you don't have to rest quite as long in between, because you're getting a bit of a rest from the first one in the second one. But of course, always go by your own body. You can always pause me, take a longer rest if you'd like. I wouldn't recommend taking a shorter rest. Rest really is an important part of your workout, just like the movement portion. All right, ready for our second set? Let's set it up. Roll those shoulders back, keep that chest nice and proud. And inhale, lower, exhale, raise, that's 1. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, driving through that heel, 6, 7, 8. Switch sides. Set it up. And inhale down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, bring it in. Bring those feet to whatever is the challenge for you for your overhead press. Set those weights up. Nice soft knees. Brace that core. Don't fall over side to side. And we're going to exhale, push. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. In those presses, another part of balance, another part of core working for you, which is also helping your balance. So make sure you are not arching back as you press. It can be helpful if you have a mirror to watch yourself just 1 or 2 reps, then look forward again. But just watch yourself to make sure that when you press, you aren't leaning back. All right, quick break, and we're gonna do those 2 one more time, and then we're done. All right, grab your weights. Set up your split squat on your first side. And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, last one in our first superset. Bring those weights up to your shoulders. Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. And roll the shoulders down, slight bend in the knees, firm that core, and exhale to push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, very nice. We are going to need our weights again, but for the moment, let's set them down. Whew. All right, let me explain to you what we're doing for our second two before we get into it. So first of all, we're going to do a bent over row. I've changed. It's just getting a little warm. Bent over row. We're working that balance because we're not right on that center base. That's great. It's not crazy because you've still got your leg here, but you are weighting just one side. So that's forcing your core to stabilize you so you don't fall over, which is all great practice for balancing in general, right? So we are going to find our split squat position. Again, won't be as much of a core balance challenge, but you can always have a hand on something for these. To be honest, generally speaking, I would have you kneeling on a bench for this. We're just doing it this way today because it adds that little balance component with less support of a bench. But if you did want to grab a bench, pretending here that the floor is my bench, you're going to set one knee, one hand down. This foot's going to be over here, down on the ground, and you're going to be rowing like this, right? Without your shoulders jacked up. I just can't do it properly when I'm down on the ground, but you get the gist. If you're ready to do them standing, we are going to split our squat, really getting some of that split squat shape in there today. You can brace that hand on the knee if you need, or you can place it on your hip, and you're going to set yourself up so that that chest is nice and straight. We're not bent over. Woo. We're not bent this way. We're nice and long, and we're going to let the weight hang down from our shoulder, and we're going to row. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Then we're going to do a deadlift. That's our second exercise. Anyway, let's come back to our split squats. So chest pointing straight down at the ground, hand wherever you need it to feel stable. And on our pull up, I'm going to turn here so it's a little better to see, you're going to pull back towards your hip. That's what's going to get that back involved, as opposed to up in towards your elbow or into your armpit. All right, so exhale to pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release. Stand it up, switch sides. You might have noticed, I didn't say this, but I'm doing it. I'm pausing for a little bit at that top, just for a beat or half a beat. That's a good way to work that muscle even more. All right, shoulders down. So you're not letting it roll forward, right? You're locking that shoulder blade down, tying it into your back. That's what's getting that back muscle involved. And from here, we're going to pull up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stand it up. All right, so you might want to do your heavier weights for this deadlift. However, if you are new to deadlifts, maybe stay lighter because we are going to add in a balance component here. So we're going to do a single leg deadlift. That does not have to mean you are actually coming up off that leg. We can also do a kickstand. It's still going to challenge your balance. All this foot is going to be back here, just barely toe on the ground. It's just to help keep you upright, and you can play around with moving it closer to challenge your balance a little more if you want. Likewise, if you'd like to try single leg, or if you're keeping your toe on the ground and you do need a bit of extra balance, that wall, That stand is also going to help you. You're still getting a leg workout doing this, so don't worry about it. Support yourself how you need it to get a good exercise, what feels like a good exercise to you. So we're going to take that toe down. I'll show you in the second half what they'll look like if you want to hover, but let's start here. We're going to keep these weights nice and close to our legs. Right thumb is going to run along right leg. That's the leg that's down on the ground this time, or the leg that we're working, the whole time. Other one is obviously not going to be against your leg because it's coming forward, but the big idea is to not let them come way forward. All right, open it up. Bend this back leg. Remember, we're not sitting back onto it. We're keeping all that weight forward on the front leg, all right? We're going to stick that butt back. Inhale. Exhale, press back up. You should feel it in the back of that front leg. Inhale. Whew, there's the balance. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to turn this way so you can see that hand staying along my leg. And to show you what it would look like if you did want to try single leg, we're going to go down. 5. I don't actually like how that feels today. 6, 7, 8. Switch sides. Left foot comes forward, back toes tap down, back. Keep everything open. Left thumb is running along left leg, at least to the knee. Inhale down. Exhale up. 2, remember you're keeping that weight in the front leg. 3, 4, shoulder blades running down your back. 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's take a quick break before we go back to our bent over row. I said shoulder blades running down your back, which is kind of a dumb explanation because literally your shoulder blades run down your back. That's what they do. But it's sort of the same as what I was saying with the bent over row where you want to really lock that down. You're making this muscle work, do its job to hold that shoulder in place, right? There's lots of other muscles too, but making that muscle work. So another way people say it in deadlifts sometimes is to think of if you're squeezing an orange in your armpit and you don't want to lose it. So if you let your arms come forward like this, you drop the orange. But if you heat them back, hold them like this, you're holding that orange in there. I like that example. It makes sense in my brain, but basically open chest is what we're going for, right? Not letting anything cave forward. All right, let's do our second set of our bent over row. Grabbing your weight, finding your first side, hand on hip or hand on knee. Again, roll those shoulder blades down and back. Bend it forward, hand below or wrist below shoulder to start. We're going to exhale, pull back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really squeeze at the top there. 7, 8. Bring it up, switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. I don't know why I put that weight down. I need it for my bent over or for my deadlifts. All right. Always making sure your shoelaces are properly tied. Okay, let's find our Romanian deadlift. Bringing all that weight forward into the front foot. I should be able, if I were there, to come and lift this back foot up. It's just there for a little bit of extra balance. All right, squeeze those oranges, butt goes back, inhale down. Exhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, take a quick breather. Grab some water if you need it. We've got one more of each of these, then we're moving on to our last superset. We don't need any weights for those, but don't worry, they're still challenging. Okay, set 3 for your bent over row. Let's do it. Exhale, pull back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really squeeze at the top there. 7, 8. Bring it up. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we've got our final set of single leg deadlifts. Set it up. Inhale down. Exhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's our second superset, all done. We're gonna move on to our third and final one. So you can take these weights, you can set them aside, you won't need them. We are gonna do a full-on single leg balance. Then we're gonna come down on the ground. We're gonna find our crab position, it's this guy, and we're gonna play around with that. I'll show you some variations when we get there. All right, so our single leg balance. There's a million versions of this, right? What I want to encourage you to do is actually try to balance. And that's not to say you have to be in the middle of the floor with nothing around you. By any means, please be near a wall, even have your fingertips on the wall. What I'm asking you to avoid doing is to completely rely on that wall, you know? Because I say, you know, we can move the leg around or something like that, but
Then what I see people do is they're like, okay, I can move the leg around, so I'm going to do this, or I'm going to hold tight to the thing, and look, I can move the leg. And that's great, you know, you're getting some hip mobility, but you're not really doing much for the balance, right? So find where you can balance or almost balance, and then have that wall there if you need for your finger tap or your hover, whatever makes you feel safe. But really do prioritize that balance. Don't be afraid to be a little wiggly. What we're working on is being able to stay upright and to restabilize with those wiggles, right? Not to banish them and be like stone plinth. We're trees. Trees bend and sway, and that's why they don't fall over, you know, that old adage. So, wall if you need it. Chair back if you need it. First option, we're just balancing. You can have that toe barely off the ground. It's still a balance, right? If you can balance all day, it's easy. You could go forever until your calf gave out, which is usually my problem. What we're going to do is we're going to move our gaze around. I used to say take your finger and move it around, but then I was realizing that you're also literally throwing off the weight by moving your arm around. So let's maybe hold off on that. Look around. And don't just look in a box over and over. Try to trick yourself. Look this way and that way, and then over there, and then up and down, and then up and down again. Just, it's the equivalent of closing your eyes, more or less, right? You can also close your eyes, but that one feels really scary to me. So, without further ado, let's find our balance on our first side. Whatever you want to do with that leg, I don't care. Arms can absolutely go out to the sides if you need them. You've obviously got that wall there if you need it. And let's go. 30 seconds. And if you're ready to challenge yourself, you're going to look around. Oh, what's that over there? Oh, this is much easier than moving the finger. Yeah, this really makes a difference and makes it very hard to balance. So we'll start here. Oh, if you're like me, you're already feeling it in that calf. Keep it going. If you fall, doesn't matter, just get back out. Almost done. And bring the foot down, shake the leg out. Whew, that's spicy, especially after all those split squat positions. Okay, let's go straight into our other leg. However that one felt, if you had an idea of what you could do and then you couldn't quite do it on that leg, still try your initial idea on the other leg, because sometimes our balance is crazy different between legs. All right, ready? 30 seconds, let's go. And bring it down, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna bring you down to the ground for what is, I guess, technically our last exercise, but we're still gonna do it 3 times. We're going to find our crab pose. Our crab. So this is your crab, right? It's kind of like a flipped around tabletop position. And I realize that shoulder mobility is going to make this varying degrees of difficult for people, and that's okay. So if you need to keep your butt a little lower, that's all good. If you need to like lean forward to take the angle out of your shoulders, do what you need to do. Just find yourself in some version of this, yeah? If this really bothers your wrists, what I'm gonna have you do for this one is find a side plank for me and practice your side plank. It's not the same thing, but it'll still give you a great workout. It's a great core workout. You could bring this foot forward and back a little bit. But that's just if your wrists bother you, yeah? If your wrists are fine, we're gonna set it up. We're gonna find it, whatever angle you need to work for your shoulders. And maybe you're just gonna start working on raising one foot, if that feels kind of unstable. If that feels okay, maybe you work on raising one hand and one foot. Without leaning too heavily, try to stay relatively centered. If that feels easy, then you're gonna start playing around with tapping a knee or tapping a toe. All right, so we're gonna do 8 on each side, so 16 total. If you are in a side plank, I just want you to flip over when you hear us count 8. All right, set it up. And we've got 1, might just be lifting your foot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your switch for plank. 9, 10, 11. You can always tap your knee. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and bring it down. Bring your arms forward. Do whatever you need to do. Work those shoulders out a little. Whew. And then carefully get up off the floor. And let's come back to our standing leg balance. Woof. All right. How do we feel? Are we ready to go? Dive right into it. All right. Single leg balance on your right leg. Don't lock out that knee. Keep a soft bend. Instead of sitting in the joint, you're making the muscles of your leg really work with that little bend. Keep your torso nice and tall. And raise that toe. Let's go. Think of spreading those toes, even though you're in shoes. Widening that base of support even when you just have one foot down makes a huge difference. Think about keeping that weight in the center of your foot so you're equally weighting the ball of your foot and your heel. Not leaning too hard into either one. If you're looking around, that's awesome. And bring it down. That was quick. All right, other side. Find that base and let's go. If you're at a wall and you've had those fingertips on the wall, that's all good. Just see if you can balance. Challenge yourself to just take the fingertips off a little more often, even if it's just a on and off and on and off. Just increase that challenge. The wall is right there. Your toe is right there. If you need to tap it down, you're safe. Balance is so, so important as we get older and just throughout our lives. All right, bring the toe down. Shake it out. And let's bring it down to the ground for our second round of crab toe or knee taps. Setting it up or finding your plank. Bring that butt up off the ground. And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, try not to lean too far. 5, 6, 7, 8. See if you can keep your weight centered. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If you are finding that toe lift is too much, the knee comes towards your nose. You're not worrying about lifting that foot up, right? Whew, it's okay, you can sit it down. All right. We have one more of each thing and then we are done. Bring it up. Might want to keep that wall close to you as you're getting up off the ground too. I don't know, sometimes I get a little lightheaded. Not a good setup for balances. All right, are you ready to go on our last side? You're gonna be feeling those calves. Definitely want to do a calf stretch at the end. All right, ready? Right foot, soft knee, tall torso. Let's go. Make sure you're still breathing. Don't hold your breath to help your balance because it won't. And bring the foot down, switch sides. All right, last balance, let's go. Crown of the head drawing up toward the ceiling. Belly button to spine, side ribs knitting in so that core is a nice strong cylinder keeping you upright. If you're looking around, that's amazing. If you've hovered your fingers off the wall a little longer this time, that's amazing. Every little piece helps. Almost done. And bring it down. Very nice. All right, sit it down. This is your last exercise. Set up for your crab or your side plank. And we're going to press through those fingertips, raise those hips up, and let's go. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and sit it down. All right, you can stay down on the ground. I'm gonna stand it up. Just to close this out, I can't see you, but I'm positive that you did amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure you stretch. I do have a great stretch video if you'd like it. But otherwise, just some nice long holds. Definitely some calf stretches, probably some shoulder stretches, all the things we worked today. And start playing around with how you can incorporate balance just day to day. You know, if you're waiting for the microwave to beep, wait on one foot. That's a great way because you can time yourself. Just remember that the better your balance, the less likely you are to fall, the less likely you are to break a hip, the more likely you are to be able to keep moving around in your old age. Obviously, there's a dozen factors in there, but balance is a huge one. So, you know, take care of yourself. You got this.